You've loved this guy for years. Movies like Love and Basketball, TV like Soul Food, now in Code Black on CBS, where he's a main character in season number 2. Check him out. Wednesdays at 10 Eastern Time on CBS. My old friend Boris Kodjoe. Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you. Good to see you.
How's life?
Life is beautiful. We just wrapped season 2, Code Black, and it's been an amazing experience. I mean, like you said, I was a guest star last season for 4 or 5 episodes. And then they asked me to become a series regular.
And you're like, I'm in. Lock in.
Absolutely. And it was funny. And I tell that story all the time, so you just got to tell me to shut up if it's too much. But
Go for it, Boris. Right. Good sell up. Good sell up front, though. Very good sell up front.
Yeah. Just it's a disclaimer, because tears might flow. My dad, who's a doctor, I called him back in Germany. I said, look, I'm doing a show. You got some advice for me? First he said, I'm too sensitive to be a doctor, so he laughed. And then he said, look, I'll give you 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, your heart rate should never be under 50. You should never be over 50 because you're like the pilot of a plane. So you always have to be cool and calm and collected. And number 2, when you enter a room, you always have to be the answer. So those are the 2 pieces of advice he gave me. And my dad passed 5 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
See, I told you the tears are going to...
It's all good.
Oh, man.
So... it's kind of cool because every day I step on a set, I kind of represent him.
Oh, it's neat, man.
And what he meant. And so being Dr. Campbell is also a little bit of being Dr. Kodjoe every day.
Well, it's good for you, man, that you're able to, what a blessing.
It is.
That you're able to do something like that.
Yes.
You know, we've had Luis Guzman, Rob Lowe on this show, and they all say that how intense it is on the set in terms of, like Luis Guzman said, he could pretty much figure out how to save somebody's life.
Yeah,
he said
they
based
also
on all that.
put us through boot camps.
Right.
You know, so we have to know what we're doing.
Right.
Because this is one of the shows where the camera actually dives into the actual surgeries and what's going on. It's not just on the faces. So we actually are being taught by our medical advisors every single day how these procedures work, so that we can be truthful and authentic when we do it. Got
Boris Kodjoe here on the Rich Eisen Show. Now, I know you're a huge tennis aficionado.
Yes.
Okay, Venus just advanced again.
Amazing.
What was the record she set, Brockman? She set a record for oldest to advance.
Yeah,
to the semifinals.
To the semifinals of a Grand Slam. Yeah. I mean, Venus is like 52.
But no, seriously, can you imagine we're now talking about the Williams sisters, about how they have advanced in age?
You know,
how old does that make you? Because I know how old it makes me. She's 36, really Venus.
She is 36. Now, what is amazing is that we have known them for 20 years. They've been on the scene for 20 years. And so we're tremendously blessed. I'm blessed to just witness the ascent of those extremely talented sisters and what they've meant to sport, all over, not just sports, but society as a whole. And it's almost like Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or these guys that we are so fortunate to watch climb up the ladder and enjoy their tremendous success and their talents. And with the 2 sisters, the same thing.
Yeah. Now Serena's engaged. Are you going to go to the wedding?
I hope I'm invited, Serena.
Come on now.
I hope I'm invited.
Boris, we know you're invited. We know you're invited. Just let us know where she's registered so we could send something from the Rich Eisen Show.
I will.
Would you please?
I will. I'll tell you where the wedding is.
Well,
I'll tell you once I know, you will know.
Well, it won't
the
be out.
The world will know. Now I'm definitely not invited.
No, hold on a second. Come on, like it won't be out on Reddit before you know. Please,
look. I'm happy for both of them. I'm super happy for Serena because she deserves all the blessings. She has single-handedly turned this sport into something that transcends the sport, and it's absolutely amazing. And what a lot of people don't realize is that she hasn't really scratched the surface because there's still stuff that she can learn, and there's still a growth there, potential growth, and to play that well at 35, to be that fit and that focused at 35 and still have the passion and the joy to play the sport is absolutely incredible. She can play another 5 years.
Yeah, and so you're doing a documentary on Novak Djokovic?
Yes. Very
What
exciting.
do we need to know about him? About Novak? Look, you know how tennis is here in the United States.
Yeah.
When Serena does something, if Venus does something, we'll pay attention. Sure. There's no guys out there that are. I mean, Roddick was kind of the last guy that made us all nationally pay attention.
There's a couple of young guns coming through in the U.S. and there's a couple of young guns. Period. You got Sasha Zverev, the German guy. You got Kyrgios, Nick Kyrgios,
Well,
the Australian
when he
guy.
cares to play, Boris. I mean, didn't
All
he
right.
just tap out in front of
Look,
his home country in a way?
give him a break. Give him a break. He's still maturing. He's still the guy's what 19. He's still maturing. He'll learn.
He's like the Grayson Allen of tennis, is that what basically what we're
my
seeing right
God.
now. I don't know. I'm trying to give him, I'm trying to make
Well,
it.
maybe he needs a Coach K in his life. Maybe that's what he needs.
You
I don't
can't
know.
quit in a match, though.
You're absolutely right. He can't. And I'm sure he will learn that at some point. Federer, when he was 14, 15, he was a nutcase. He used to break all his rackets until his father took him off the court and said, "Look, you're not going to play for 6 months until you behave." And then he became the Roger Federer that we know today.
Maybe that's what has to happen with Grayson
Hey.
Allen. Maybe we just take him off the court for 6 months.
I don't. Everybody walks their own path at their own pace, so I don't want to judge, but I know he's talented.
So what do we need to know about Boris, about Novak Djokovic?
About
Boris?
Novak, he is a product of his culture. He's a Serbian through and through. He's very proud. He is very strong. It's always interesting to me just to look at how players came up. And if you compare it to the U.S. players, for most of the U.S. players, winning and losing is pretty much inconsequential because it doesn't change their life either way. For players like Novak and other folks that came from South America and Eastern Europe, winning and losing is the difference between winning and losing in life. And so they bring this competitive edge to the court that you can't compete with unless you have a certain amount of discipline and structure that allows you to be 100% committed to what you're doing. So, and we, our director, John Hanyon, who's incredible, we're sort of going through that with him, and we're figuring out where he came from and what informed him as a man, as a father, as a person, and go on a ride with him for a whole year, and it's going to be very exciting.
So you have people right now in Australia?
We were with him in Australia until he unfortunately...
How'd that footage come back?
It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's challenges, in professional sports.
Hey, that's what it is, following the team
And-
around, because there's usually we pointed it out just the other day. There's one out of 32 teams win the Lombardi Trophy every year. There's only one.
There you have it. Yeah. But that's what makes great TV. That's what makes great stories. So I'm really looking forward to telling that story.
Boris Kodjoe here on the Rich Eisen Show. Code Black on CBS. Check it out at 10 Eastern Time. Before I let you go, we might as well. We've known each other for a long time. It was 2 years that Stu passed, just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think about him all the time when North Carolina does something or something happens in the NBA. Anything like the big Durant move to Golden State. I mean, you knew Stewart for many years. Stuart Scott.
Yeah.
Do you think about him as much as
I think about him all the time.
all the time?
I think
Me
about
too.
him. I've been thinking about him even more so now that my father passed, because what you learn is, and you go through the grieving process, dealing with the transition, I call it, because the relationship changes. It's not like the relationship ends because, like you said, you think about Stu all the time. I think about stuff that he used to say to me, things that he used to tell his daughters when we were sitting together. So he's not gone. He has transcended life in a way. Like he's become a different entity in my life that I refer to, that I think about. So I feel like I'm very close to him still.
Well, me too. And it's interesting you use the word transcend because, we go back to in the late 90s when we first, met. And when he was going through his career, the word transcend wasn't used a lot with him. And he didn't feel, he wasn't made to feel as if he was transcending much, except on occasion, hate, towards him about how he would perform and his style on SportsCenter. And it's amazing how now
it's the norm.
It's the norm.
It's the norm.
I don't know how he would feel about that if he knew that right now.
I think he knew. And I think he was unafraid, and I think he was unapologetic, and I think that's what made him special because, we're in this industry, we always tiptoeing around because we have to consider executives and ratings and all these things. But Stu, he found out very early that the more authentic you can be, and the more you can be, the more people will gravitate towards you because all we're looking for is some sense of realness. And I think that we've all learned from him in that respect.
Yeah. So many people come up to me. Yeah, that's Stewart. That's an act. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, no.
No. That is
No.
100% not an act.
100%
I know.
Stewart, yeah.
Hey, it's good to see you, Boris.
Good to see you.
Anytime.
Always.
Don't be such a stranger here.
I appreciate
okay?
you.
Boris Kodjoe. Check out
Thank
Code
you.
Black on CBS with Boris and Marcia Gay Harden and Rob Lowe and Luis Guzman. Look at you.
10 p.m. Wednesdays, people.
On CBS, America's Most Watched Network, I do believe is what.
Get a good cry.
There you go.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.